Opening event for the teams at the CrossFit German Throwdown. 5 spots are up for grabs as these individuals look to work together to get themselves to Madison, Wisconsin to compete for the Affiliate Cup of the 2021 Noble CrossFit Games. Sean Woodland and Annie Sakamoto here with you. Here are the top seeded teams out of the quarterfinals that are in the CrossFit German Throwdown, and CrossFit Fabriken, they are already out.
Yeah, CrossFit Fabriken has not posted times for either of the first 2 events, and it's just really a bummer to see this team that has been to the games before already out of the competition. Definitely from the Port and CrossFit Oslo, Wolfpack are the favorite teams, I would say, going into this weekend.
Team Event 1 looks a lot like individual Event 1 that was Friendly Fran, but for the teams, they've cut the reps, but they have added the synchronized bar-facing burpees, and it was Team CrossFit Genas with the winning time 12 seconds faster than Oslo Wolfpack to pick up the 100 points.
Right, and Genas did great. They came out of the quarterfinals in 6th place, smoking time of 7:01, especially when you think about the fact that they had to synchronize all 4 athletes on 3 movements for 3 rounds. But here's what it is. Without a worm, how are you going to synchronize up all of these athletes? Well, by doing exactly that, making them synchronize all of their movements. Really impressive performance by Team Genas coming out of that first event.
Results for Event 1 out of the CrossFit German Throwdown for the teams. All teams in the top 5 go sub-8, and just 3 seconds separate third, the athlete program, from AOD Fitness. So 7:55 for the athlete program, and then 7:58 for AOD Fitness. Event 2 for the teams. This one looks a lot like individual Event 2. They work in same gender pairs. The men go first, they tag the women, then they go. And the movements and the structure of this event looks a little familiar.
It does. It looks very similar to Event 2 of the quarterfinals. That was a male-female pairing, and you could kind of share the rope climbs. But when we're talking about, that I think the event in the quarterfinals had pistols, but also had GHD sit-ups. So a lot of these teams have done a very similar event to this one right here.
We are going to see Team Event 2 and our featured matchup for the teams. Brandon Domain and Jamie Hagia have the call, and they begin with the box assignments presented by CBDMD.
Thank you, and welcome back to the German Throwdown as we get ready for Team Event number 2 to close out the opening day of competition, as we'll have our top 6 after Event number 1 here on screen. CrossFit Genas in the top left is the Event 1 winner. Oslo Wolfpack will be in the 2nd position. Athlete Program in 3rd. Butcher's Lab in 4th. AOD Fitness in 5th, and Mandagsklubben in 6th as they work across the screen left to right. That top line being the top 3, the bottom line being 4th, 5th, and 6th as we are underway with a longer test of the 2 today. And we somewhat saw this on the individual side, but now we're throwing the synchro version in it as the men attack this pyramid style workout first. Jamie, what are you looking for that's a little bit different perhaps with the team component?
Yeah, being on both ends, like the individual side, you only have yourself to worry about, but on the team side, you have to really play to like everyone's strengths and weaknesses, and everybody is part of this. So really, you have to like stay in tune with how your partner's doing, when they're tired, when they need to take a break, and kind of really like hone in on how they're doing.
And as this one, the reps are a little bit lower than the individual version, as it's 35 synchro dumbbell shoulder to overhead, 35 synchro dumbbell deadlift, 35 synchro GHD sit-up, and 75 synchro single arm dumbbell overhead squats. That's as fun to say as it is to do. And then back down that pyramid, going backwards with the GHD sit-ups, dumbbell deadlifts, and then the shoulder to overheads. Once the men's pair is done with those 50-pound dumbbells, then it'll be the women's pair's turn at 35 pounds on each dumbbell.
Now you see the difference of in the middle, Oslo Wolfpack, they're side by side, right? And then underneath them, AOD Fitness, they're kind of, one is staggered behind the other. So the person in front has no idea what the person behind, they just better be following along. It's kind of preference. I feel like I would be the one personally in front, because I just go, and Chelsea was my teammate was so great at just kind of like letting me go at my own pace and matching that. So good teammates, getting a good read on each other.
Nice little hop there onto the GHD for one of the male athletes out of AOD Fitness. That was pretty smooth there as they start working on those 35 GHD sit-ups. And we're just 2 minutes in. 3 of our top 6 teams after that first event already working on that third of 7 movements here for the first of 2 pairs through this chipper-style workout.
Now 35 isn't as many as on the individual side as 50, but it is going to be synchronized. So that's going to be the tough part about this. So those GHD sit-ups, oh man, those get really tough, really fast. And kind of making sure you're on the same page as someone, that's a tough task.
And it's a tough task to chase down Oslo Wolfpack on the top middle of the screen as they were the first ones to those GHD sit-ups. One of the few examples we saw of that side-by-side style that you pointed out here a moment ago, and they are already onto the midway point with 75 synchro single-arm dumbbell overhead squats. And again, you'll notice on the top of every box is that red line. The farther to the right that extends, the farther through the event that these athletes are going through. And on Oslo Wolfpack, they're going to open up a large lead here in this group of 6 teams that we're keeping our eye on.
And it's always interesting. You have your men are going first, followed by the females after that. So yes, they can get a big lead to start, and then it's up to their women to hold on and keep that lead and take charge to finish and bring that home strong.
Still seeing that side-by-side for Oslo Wolfpack top middle. AOD Fitness and the athlete program both going with that front and back on the top right and bottom middle portions of the screen. And nearly simultaneously, Mandagsklubben and Genas are moving on to the overhead squats as well midway through this opening pair.
You see that quick change of the dumbbell overhead? Switch overhead to AOD Fitness in the bottom middle. I felt like that style where you're kind of staggered, one person's in front, one's behind. It feels like the worm almost. I know that's a popular, maybe not so popular amongst, I did not like that, but definitely that's the kind of feel you're going to get with a staggered line and everyone falling right behind each other.
I was thinking about that because like you're going front and back. If you're in the front, you don't know what the person behind you's doing, but that is a good comparison there with the worm. If you're in the front of that, you don't know what they're doing except if you're getting like pulled backwards or something. But
yep.
These teams making it work as we watch 4 of the 6 going with this front and back style.
Ooh, the top left. See, they kind of got a little bit off in their overhead squats, so you have the no reps are going to be huge on this. The last thing you want when you're exhausted in this and you're trying to do synchro is a no rep, trying not to get frustrated.
Well, they even went through the exchange and synchronized version there for CrossFit Genas on the top left, and they're getting back to work on those overhead squats on the set of 75 before they turn it back around for the 35 GHD sit-ups, dumbbell deadlifts, and shoulder to overhead, still in that synchronized version. 2 dumbbells each on the dumbbell deadlifts and shoulder to overheads. As we're just past 5 minutes in, again, these are the top 6 teams after event number 1 in the point standings, with CrossFit Genas taking that opening event. Oslo Wolfpack in the top middle, getting pretty close, I do believe, to advancing to the GHD sit-ups and making their way back down this pyramid rep scheme.
Yeah, this gets pretty tough when you get fatigued. Their legs are burning. They got to go straight back to the GHD sit-ups. It'll take a second.
And that seems like that's the sticking point here in this event, where you're having to go from the GHD sit-ups to the overhead squats back to the GHD sit-ups. That just seems to be where it's hitting most of the athletes, individual side and the team side, from what we've seen.
Yeah, I feel like going back to those GHD sit-ups right after, it really, they sneak up on you. Like getting sets of even 10 seems sometimes impossible, So breaking it up smaller, taking just a second rest at the top might help out. But these guys look at the top. Oslo Wolfpack they're moving.
And they are out in front, top middle of the screen. Second place going to be the athlete program out of the UK on the top right. Third place is going to be a close race between AOD Fitness bottom middle and CrossFit Genas top left, with Butcher's Lab and Mandagsklubben on the outside of those bottom lines, bringing up the rear of the field here in this group of 6. But again, there's still another pair that's yet to go with the women that'll have the second half of this event, so there's still a long way left in this one.
That's right. I was just going to say that. You can see the women waiting behind or on the side cheering on their guys. You know, you're waiting and you're cheering them on, but you know you have a lot of work to do, so it's kind of a little bit the rush is getting to them. They're, you know, getting maybe nerves, maybe excited, a little bit of everything.
In team experience, is that something that you've had to deal with, or you've been the one waiting, or do you prefer to be the person that just goes out there and gets it done early?
I like to go first. I like to get it done. I like to cheer them on at the end, so because then you get to set the pace, or like, you know, and then they got to bring it home at the end.
Speaking of bringing it back and bringing it home, Oslo Wolfpack top middle. They are already through the GHD sit-ups onto the final 70 reps with those pairs of dumbbells. And they are making their way through this opening half of the event very quickly. As you see the GHDs getting set up for the women's pair that'll be going second. They get to have that riser that'll help out shorten that gap that they'll have to reach back.
Another interesting thing to look at is also the height of the different pairs. For the most part, everyone looks pretty about the same, but if you have a discrepancy in between height, the one's really tall and one's shorter, these deadlifts might be a little bit off. You have to make sure you time it perfectly on everything, the overhead squats and the shouldered overhead.
Quick work for Oslo Wolfpack, already onto the dumbbell shoulder to overheads, and they have opened up a large lead over the athlete program. On the top right, AOD Fitness bottom middle, and CrossFit Genas top left, as Butcher's Lab also has made their way to the dumbbell deadlifts, but it is Oslo Wolfpack that is just cruising through this opening half.
Yeah, that'll be nice to have a little bit of a lead for the women coming in. Then they know, I mean, actually, they don't know, because they have no idea where everyone else is in this field. In a live competition, you would be really excited about this, but yeah.
And of course, speaking of that, we do have, obviously, it's the virtual format, so nobody knows where they are. As they completed this, there were no results shown, obviously, that's for anybody at that point in time. But the other thing, too, is there's still several other teams that are doing this event, obviously. And so we're just keeping our eye on these 6, but other times will be a factor. And so not necessarily that the fastest team here in this group of 6 would win the event.
Right, and so
but
that's why,
pair. Sorry, go ahead.
That's why they have to just trust their training. You know, they've worked together for so many months preparing for this and kind of running through these, hopefully, and before when they got the chance to. So because you don't have other times and people to go off of, they're just trusting that they're prepared and they know how to read each other and when to push and when they're going to go for things. And
we do have the switch made for Oslo Wolfpack as they got through the opening pair at 9 minutes and 50 seconds unofficially. So they'll move on to the second half. Same exact workout. This being different at 35 pounds on those dumbbells for the female athletes. And this is going to be a large lead for their second pair.
Yeah, I think here they come.
The athlete program a good 40 seconds back as Oslo Wolfpack already onto the dumbbell deadlifts. They're going to have about a 30 to 35 rep lead over the athlete program. CrossFit Genas has moved on to the second pair as well. As AOD Fitness really struggling to close out with this opening half of the event.
This workout is it's very interesting because it's going to test your shoulder strength, right? And then you're going to move on to your deadlifts. So me personally, I'm not very good at deadlifts, so I would have to my partner, my teammate would have to go off of me and break them up into sets when I'm ready to go. So that's the thing that we're looking for is your stronger athlete's going to have to play to the athlete that is not so much in their wheelhouse.
And that's the interesting strategy when you get these synchronized ones where you might have somebody that's a little bit stronger on something and they've really got to change their style and their pacing to meet the the person that might struggle with the movement, and I feel like that's something that doesn't really get talked about a whole lot, is the person that's stronger of the two in a movement having to kind of dial back a little bit, and now there's some difficulty with that.
Right, because messing up, even like on GHD sit-ups, if you have to slow yours down a little bit, that's going to mess up your tempo and your timing and your pace on those. But because if that's in your wheelhouse and you're good at them, it shouldn't be too big of a problem. But it definitely is. It makes it a little bit more difficult.
Well, not a whole lot of difficulty here for Oslo Wolfpack. They continue to lead the athlete program on the top right of the screen. Second place, they're also onto the GHD sit-ups and closing the gap a little bit, but Oslo Wolfpack already onto the overhead squats, this one with just one dumbbell as opposed to the other two movements that feature a pair of dumbbells. But it's Oslo Wolfpack top middle in first, athlete program top right in second, and CrossFit Genas will be third place here in this group of 6 as they start on the GHD sit-ups on the top left.
And in your bottom right, those guys are finishing up. So the women are still waiting to come on for their chance to come on and start this workout.
And that is going to hurt them significantly in the point standings with just this pace difference, as they're a good 3 minutes 20 seconds back from the transition point alone, and they're still finishing up those shoulder to overhead. So this is going to be a significant point impact, as they're going to have a pretty low finish unless the female pair can really bust out something special.
Yeah, that's the thing about team. You live and die by your team, and your weakest link is, everyone is only as strong as your weakest link.
Next team onto the GHD sit-ups. We had AOD Fitness in fourth. Butcher's Lab on the bottom left will be the fifth team onto the GHD sit-ups, but off the GHD in the second position is going to be the athlete program out of the United Kingdom, and they will start on their overhead squats, but it continues to be a gigantic lead for Oslo Wolfpack, one of 2 Oslo teams here in the field this weekend, as in event number 1, Oslo Wolfpack 2 took 9th place. So they had 2 teams all in the top 10 after the opening event.
And 75 synchro single arm overhead squats. That is no joke. I mean, 35 of each movement is one thing, but when you get to the middle of that and have to do 75, that's it's you got to dig deep and kind of really lean in on each other.
Third team onto that movement is going to be CrossFit Genas. So the top 3 in the point standings, all the top 3 here in this group of 6. AOD Fitness closing the gap once again, though, as they move onto the overhead squats as well. We might have a pretty good race here for third and fourth out of this virtual heat, as Oslo Wolfpack continues to hold a pretty good lead over the athlete program in the race for first and second.
And the women on the bottom left, they are moving. It seems like they have no idea where they are, but it seems like they know they're a little bit behind and they got to go. They are moving on their deadlifts.
They are definitely on the move there for Mandagsklubben, trying to make up some time. Butcher's Lab is closing the gap in on third and fourth as well, trying to make up ground, and they may not know it, but they are making up some ground here on the rest of the field. But it's Oslo Wolfpack back to the GHD sit-ups as they're beginning on their final 105 reps of this pyramid-style rep scheme event. And they look just as smooth as they did the first time on the GHD.
I wonder if you can see the guys in the background. There you see the 2 on the boxes. So you'll get a feel for how these women will fill in a little bit.
But imagine at this point, you're just kind of looking at them and just going like, nope, not going to pay attention to y'all and how you feel right now, as they continue to work through the GHD sit-ups, and they're already through 10 to 15 reps as the athlete program. They set the dumbbells down, but they still got a few left to go. Thought that was going to be a transition point, but they are still going on those overhead squats. So this is going to be a runaway victory unless something crazy happens for Oslo Wolfpack in the top middle.
The nice thing is that it's not a certain amount in each arm. So if one person is stronger, if your right arm is stronger, more dominant than your left in overhead squats, single arm overhead squats, you can hang on to that the whole time if you actually wanted to, but giving yourself a break and evening out just a little bit will help out.
just now going to the GHD for the second set of 35 as the athlete program, so it is a good 1 minute lead for Oslo Wolfpack here in this group of 6, and they are just running away with this one. They're already onto the dumbbells for the final set of 35 dumbbell deadlifts before the shoulder to overheads to close it out.
Like you said, we don't get to see all the teams, but I would assume that Oslo Wolfpack is going to finish pretty high up there.
Yeah, this is a very impressive showing. I'd be hard-pressed to think of a time that'll be faster than what they're doing, as it was 9:50 for the men unofficially to finish this pairing, and looks like the female pairing is trying to move even faster and possibly beat that split time, as they're having 2 very impressive runs through this pyramid.
That's kind of the fun thing about teams is, you know, the women go, and so we would always have competitions with our guys, like, oh, we're going to beat you guys in this, you know. So then it pushed everyone to be a lot better. But so because they're men, we're able to give them a lead, a little bit of lead coming in. They're hanging on. They're doing great. That set them up really great to finish strong.
They are definitely running with that momentum for Oslo Wolfpack. You see that red line at the top of their box is getting very, very close to the edge of the right side, meaning that they would be done, and they are now 35 reps away as they step back and start on those shoulder to overheads. They'll take a quick breather. They may not know it, but they can afford that quick breather here in this heat as they start on those final 35 reps. The athlete program coming off the GHD, they will be a good 40 to 45 reps back, though, by the time they start those deadlifts.
Yeah, I bet you Oslo Wolfpack, they know it, they see it. They have 35 reps of shoulder to overhead, and they are looking solid. Not like they're going to put that down anytime soon. It's the end of the workout. You got to hold on.
Oslo Wolfpack, they're trying to get 2 teams to qualify for the games out of the same facility, as they've got Wolfpack 2, 9th place in event number 1. Wolfpack 1 was 2nd in event 1, and they are done in event number 2 at 18:52. Absolutely crushing this one.
Wow. Yeah, I think the closest ones after them are going to be on their deadlifts.
Yeah, we got 2 on the deadlifts, 2 on the GHDs, and 1 still on the midway point. That'd be Mandagsklubben working on the overhead squats. So the race for second here in this group of 6 is going to be between the athlete program and CrossFit Genas, and the athlete program now onto the shoulder to overhead, and they will hold the edge there in that race for second out of these 6.
Yeah, as a CrossFit coach, I think we like to tell people to keep, you know, a nice, their chest up and a good, not a rounded back in our deadlifts. But I think with dumbbells, it's a little bit tougher, you know, to maintain that really good form, especially when you're in competition. It's a little bit different. You got to go, as you know, so you will sacrifice a little bit of form there.
At this point, just going all out, trying to hang on to every second that they can. That little bit of added element that you don't know where other teams are around you, as the athlete program working through these final set of 35 shoulder to overheads. CrossFit Genas has made their way to that final movement as well. Don't think they're going to have enough time to catch the athlete program, though, as they should just be a couple reps away, and they are done at 20 minutes and 19 seconds. Still very impressive, but about a minute 27 behind the virtual heat winner of Oslo Wolfpack. Good race going on for 3rd, 4th, and 5th now, as CrossFit Genas onto the shoulder to overheads, as is AOD Fitness in the bottom middle, Butcher's Lab on the bottom left.
And CrossFit Genas taking a quick break. They're going to pick those up and hopefully finish this out.
Looking at that progress bar, though, AOD Fitness getting very close to the end. We might have a strong race here for the 3rd position. It seems like a struggle here for one of the athletes out of CrossFit Genas, trying to keep those dumbbells locked out, and that might open the window for AOD Fitness, and it does. 21-12 for AOD Fitness.
Wow. And that's what you're seeing. Oh, man, just dropping it one time can cost you, right, a couple seconds will cost you another placing.
And there's the finish for CrossFit Genas at 21-27. They'll be good for 4th here in this group of 6. Butcher's Lab should be our next finisher, and they are at 21-38. And that's going to leave Mandagsklubben as our final team, still working on those GHD sit-ups.
Yeah, if you saw between the third, fourth, and fifth, they were all pretty close in those last shoulder to overhead, and you just wonder if if they would have all been in a live competition, they would have tried to hang on. I think it would have given them a little bit more adrenaline to know, like, we cannot drop these dumbbells. We got to finish.
Yeah, that's one of those things that having these virtual competitions, it's great, and it's definitely something that is needed with the current climate and everything, especially in the international events. But man, we definitely miss seeing those crowds at all of these competitions, and just that little extra adrenaline. It's been great to see it the past couple weeks, but here with our international events, different countries, different rules, this is the easiest way for us to make this all happen. So we're getting this competition in with the virtual format, as Mandagsklubben now onto the dumbbell deadlifts for 35 of those, then 35 shoulder to overheads, and they will be done with day one of competition.
Yeah, it's just a totally different feeling. I know when you do the open and some of these qualifiers out of your gym, you do have your support. People come out, your friends, your family, your gym members, to come out and support you, and which is so great. But that live crowd, the energy in that in the stadiums, it's not like something you can't even imagine. It's amazing.
Mandagsklubben, they are about halfway through those dumbbell deadlifts, and this is a rough position, and I would imagine when you're the last one to finish on the floor, it's hard enough. I'm not sure how it would feel when you're in this environment, though, where
right.
You don't know where everybody else is. You're just going as hard as you can, and you don't know where it's going to turn out, as they now move to the shoulder to overheads, and obviously not knowing that out of this top 6 grouping in the point standings, they are well behind, though.
Yeah, if this were a live competition, I'm sure, knowing that you're one of the last ones to finish it, like, the crowd is cheering you on, they're giving you that extra push to keep on going. Looks like they have their coach there, really helping out their timing.
Almost looking like an orchestra leader there as he's helping them out there, getting that timing down on the shoulder to overheads. They break off a good chunk of, I believe that was 10 or 12 reps. And they should be getting pretty close, probably around the final 15 to 20 reps on these shoulder to overheads.
This is actually kind of nice, though. I wish my coach could have came out here and, did that for me when I was competing. What a cool strategy.
Coming up on 25 minutes into this 30-minute time cap event. That time cap, don't believe that's going to be a factor here, as we only have a few reps remaining for Mandagsklubben out of Sweden.
Yeah, when you get down to those final reps, every single one is like a max effort to get even a set of 5. Let's see how many they knock out here.
I believe this should be about it here, and it is. They come across the line at 25:13, and that's going to be a good 6 minutes and change behind the heat winner here in this virtual heat. CrossFit Oslo Wolfpack 18:52.
CrossFit Oslo Wolfpack 18:52 to pick up the event win, nearly a minute and a half faster than the athlete program. They are the only team to go sub 21 other than Oslo Wolfpack, and then AOD Fitness, Heart and Heavy CrossFit, and Team Boundary rounding out the top 5. Your overall standings through the first 2 events, it's the Oslo Wolfpack by 10 points over the athlete program. Team CrossFit Genas sits in 3rd, AOD Fitness, and then Team Butcher's Lab at 155. From the port, they right now are in 8th place, and they were your 2nd best team out of the quarterfinals in Europe, so they have some work to do. Remember to keep it here for all of your semifinals coverage here on this virtual weekend. We'll also have recaps of the team events from the Brazil CrossFit Championship and the CrossFit Lowlands Throwdown, and we'll have recaps of all the first 2 individual events from the 3 virtual semifinals going on this weekend. For Annie Sakamoto, I'm Sean Woodland. Remember, stay tuned to the CrossFit YouTube channel and the CrossFit Facebook page for everything going on with Week 3 of the 2021 Noble CrossFit Games semifinals.